Hi, my name is Psychologist Moraa Meng'wa. I am a psychologist, an applied theatre practitioner, a singer, a songwriter, a poet, and a thespian. I really empathize with teachers of today because the amount of work they have around that is huge. It's huge. But what can they do? I remember back in high school, and we used to have this thing called cultural days, but it wasn't fully cultural. It was tied to, say, a subject. So it was like an English, say, cultural day kind of thing. And what we used to do was, or chemistry, whatever subject. What we used to do was you'd get students to write a song, a dance, a poem. For parents, start slow. For teachers, start slow. Don't force the kid or be angry, because that gets them to get back to themselves more, not open up.
The conversation on improving or reviving the reading culture has been ongoing for as long as technology, new mediums of communication or of accessing information have been around, with the invention of the television and later smartphones, computers. So now we are in this situation where the new models or the new mediums of accessing entertainment are more entertaining and more interesting and distracting than reading books. So the question of why should we read? What does reading do for us? What does reading do to our brains? As a child growing up, you're a parent and you have a child growing up, what does reading mean for them? What does reading do to their brain? So to answer some of these questions, I have invited a psychologist to come here and break down for us the processes that reading takes, the impact that reading has on the mind. So I am joined by Moraa Meng'wa, who is a psychologist, and she works in applied theatre as an expert, as a practitioner. And she's also a singer, songwriter, poet. I hear she's also an actor. I don't know, I've heard there's nothing she can do. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with her. So hi, Moraa.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, very well. Maybe you can just tell us, we can segue right into it. What does reading mean for you?
Reading means discovering a new wild world within your mind. You just get it, because what happens when you read is you start to imagine, you start to think about things, you start to build a world in your brain. And how exciting is that? That is so cool. So that is what reading means to me. And just getting new knowledge. You're getting information that you did not have before. Again, so cool.
So for you, reading is for a reason.
Well, you can have fun with it. Again, actually, that's still a reason. So let's say yes, it is for a reason. Actually,
for a reason.
Yes.
Is it utilitarian? For you, it's like I am reading to get information.
No.
Or I am reading to.
There's no specific reason, Eric. It can be all of them at the same time. It can be I am reading because I want to gain knowledge on a particular subject. I'm reading because this is so interesting. I'm reading because it's so fun, right? Yeah. Let me give you, like I said, reading is so fun. And I remembered when I was a kid, I was in the Kenya Children Assembly. This is like a sort of parliament for children. So I was the speaker of Kamukunji sub-county. And there was a lot around policy and around, having children voices come out. And I remember this one particular session we had around advocating for children to read, and the title was Reading is Fun. Yeah, so reading is fun. Yeah.
Reading is fun.
Reading is fun.
Okay. Because a lot of people, when they're talking about why we should read, and maybe even this episode, is we read because it's good for us.
It is good for us, that's right.
It's true, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It is good for us in every kind of way. Even, I must say, as a psychologist, for your brain, it is all about the cognitive. Reading is a cognitive process. Yeah, cognition means it's compounded by a couple of things. It's compounded by memory, learning, language, decision making, critical thinking, comprehension. That is what cognition is all about. So the cognitive aspect of how your brain works is very tied to reading. So very, very important for us as well. Yeah.
How different is reading from listening? Listening is cognitive too, right?
Yeah, listening is also very cognitive because as you listen, you start to imagine things. So they're not very different.
I could listen to a podcast instead of read.
Instead of reading, true. But then
same benefits.
Same benefits, but with a little extra, because also as you read, there's the parts of the brain that become more. You're reading words. So in terms of learning. We learn in different ways. We learn through reading, we learn through listening, we even through saying things we learn, right? But when you read words, you're able to, for example, a kid who reads is a better place to know how to spell words, right?
True.
Even when writing, right? Yeah. So there are perks to both listening and reading, but there's an extra bit to it when you read.
But is it really the same though?
It is not the same because again, you stimulate different parts of the brain when you listen, right? The auditory, okay? When you see and read, it's the occipital lobe. Okay, so again, different parts of the brain being stimulated, but still getting the same benefits with a little extra when you read.
Could it be that even you do a little bit more work when you read? Because when I listen to you, it's sort of passive. You're telling me everything. But if I read, nobody is telling me anything. Like, I have to actually pay attention with my mind. Yeah. And really force my mind to.
Yeah. Allow me to mention.
Moment,
Yes. Allow me to mention that other than just memory, language, and all that, there's also the aspect of attention. All right. Yeah. So reading improves attention. When you listen, the amount of attention you give is not the same when you read because you actually have to be present. True. You have to be very mindful, and you have to be there when you read. Otherwise, you'll just be saying words and not really comprehending what you're reading. Have you ever read a paragraph and you're like, "Well, I need to go back. What did I?
Yes,
I need to go back." Sometimes it happens, right?
Not sometimes, all the time.
All the time. So that means there's more demand. There's more demand because right now you can passively listen, but you cannot passively read.
You can passively listen, but you cannot passively read.
Yes. So reading demands a lot of attention. A lot. And that means it improves your attention and your attention span as well. Yeah.
Attention span.
Attentions. Yes. Yeah.
So reading is almost meditative.
We could put it like that. I have never had anyone say it like that.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
But when you think about meditation and what meditation is all about and the benefits of meditation, and you think about reading, we could describe reading as a form of meditation. Because not just the cognitive processes around it, but also in terms of empathy and emotional regulation, it really helps. Yeah, so
tell me about ADHD.
Attention deficit hypersensitivity disorder. Very interesting.
And how that relates with reading. If I have ADHD, which means my attention span is pretty low, how am I going to be able to read?
ADHD is not just about attention. There's the hypersensitivity part. but it is closely tied, because if you cannot focus fully, you're, I would say all over the place. You want to jump from one thing to another, and often a lot of people who have the condition really struggle to read. But when you're able to get something very interesting, because again, ADHD is not just about the attention span. It's also about the motivation behind it, because when you get something that is very interesting, they tend to very much stick to it. So it depends on the kind of book they're reading. It depends with the motivation behind what they're doing, right? What I would say is, if you're a person who has the condition ADHD, get something that is so interesting for you. Make the environment very suitable for you to read. Reduce your screen time, and you'll be able to better read, I would say. But yes, attention deficit disorder, definitely, and hypersensitivity disorder definitely is something that makes people struggle to read. Yes.
And it's on the rise.
It's very much on the rise, unfortunately, because right now there's a lot of things going on. Like right now, social media, and we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have Facebook.
So ADHD is nurture, not nature?
Mostly nature, but it can be triggered a lot, especially if there's a lot of stimulation around you, right? Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's fully nature and fully nurture, but each of them give into each other, feed into each other, and that's primarily cuts across a lot of things, give or take. So back to ADHD, when we talk about nature and nurture, there's not I wouldn't say necessarily it's nature. But mostly it's nature, because that's how the brain works. Your brain cannot be able to fully focus on one thing. So it's biological as well, and it is triggered when there's a lot of stimulation around you, say screens, especially now that we have screens, and especially it's even tougher when we're giving screens to children at a very early age.
True.
Right? Yeah. So you get the child not able to concentrate on one thing, because there's a lot of colors, so your brain is overly stimulated all the time, so you cannot literally focus on one thing, right? Yeah. So it has been on the rise, because right now we have a lot of screens, and we're giving children screens at a very young age, because most parents say do not want to parent. It's easier. You give a kid Cocomelon, and you can literally go back to your screen on your phone, or literally do any other thing. Yeah, but it is very detrimental to the brain.
So how are teachers supposed to deal with that? With a teacher is dealing with a class of, let's say, 40 children, and let's say you have 10 children with their attention, hyperactivity.
I really empathize with teachers of today, because the amount of work they have around that is huge. It's huge. But what can they do? As a psychologist, I would think around calming the brain, finding something more calming and meditative. Things like helping the children become more present, starting from mindful techniques or grounding techniques to help the child become present and focus in class, say, as simple as breathing exercises. Using different techniques. Say, I said I'm an applied theater practitioner, yes. And I've worked with children as well. I do work with children, yes, very actively. And what I've found so interesting in the process of learning, using what I wouldn't describe as traditional interventions towards learning, really helps, really helps. Because when the teacher, it's all about attention, right? Sure. When the teacher is doing something very interesting, the child is motivated to pay attention. The traditional, standing in front of class, chalk or a whiteboard marker, and just giving like some sort of a whole lecture kind of thing, it's tough on a brain that is used to swiping. Not interesting, swipe. Not interesting, swipe. So we need to find better ways to deal with, to help learners learn in this day and age. So for the teachers, hey, what are other alternative interventions that you can do? Also, giving children agency and autonomy around learning can really, really help. I remember back in high school, and we used to have this thing called cultural days, but it wasn't fully cultural. It was tied to, say, a subject. So it was like an English, say, cultural day kind of thing. And what we used to do was, or chemistry, whatever subject, what we used to do was you'd get students to write a song, a dance, a poem around a specific learning point. So I remember, say, for biology, we had this song called Bones. And it was so interesting because we would sing about the bones and we would learn in the process. So storytelling is a very important aspect of learning as well. It gets the mind to imagine, right? And that's the beauty of it. So think about the alternative ways you can learn other than just the traditional ways, especially dealing with screens in today's age.
I found coloring book to be very useful with a child who has a lot of inability to pay attention,
right?
Because it sort of focuses you as you're coloring, and you have to choose let's say you have to choose a certain color for a certain bit. There are those coloring books with the diagrams already in there and you color.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about social media.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, before we do that, let's talk about ADHD. You're a teacher or a parent with an ADHD child, and you would love for them to start reading. And maybe they're interested, but their brains fail them. How do you help?
Because that's literally what happens. Your brain cannot. It's not because you don't wanna. Your brain literally can't. Yeah, and just allow me to say, and with most issues when we talk about mental health and mental wellness, it's not because you don't want to read. It's not because you don't want to live a quality life. It's not because you, allow me to say, trigger warning, talking about suicide. It's not because you don't want to live. It's because your brain cannot comprehend a reality different from what presently you're in. Yeah. For parents, start slow. For teachers, start slow. Don't, force the kid or be angry, because that gets them to get back to themselves more and not open up, right? Start slow. Simple. Get a simple book, read to them. Also, the children see things.
Read to them.
So read to the child, and if possible, have them with you there as you read. And simple stories, easy to comprehend, short and slow. The beauty of our brains is it can expand through a process called neuroplasticity. And even though we have these conditions like ADHD, in fact, it was previously called ADD, attention deficit disorder, but then the H was added to cover the hyperactivity. Hyperactivity. Yes. So the beauty of our brains is it can expand. It can create new neural connection.
The brain expands, eh?
Yeah, it does. Not literally, Eric. Not.
I'm kidding.
No, not literally. But it can.
What is expanding? Is it the cells?
Your neural connections.
What are neurons?
Let me put it in a layman's terms. When you talk about wiring, see, kuna wires, we have wires. So imagine that is your brain, and it is creating new wires and pathways for you to and connecting. So once you start to read, pathways.
If it's a pathway, there's something traveling on it.
Yes.
What's traveling on the pathways in the brains?
Different things. So, for example, we have chemicals and electrical signals traveling. Yeah.
Chemicals.
Yes.
Chemicals.
Yes, we have chemicals in our brains, people. We have chemicals in our brains.
Electrical signals.
Yes. Yes, that fire in our brain. In fact, the more you read, the more they fire. And when they fire, they stimulate parts of the brain.
There's this story which people used to say, unaona ule jamaa anakuanga chopi, anasoma mpaka anachizi. Is it because of these fires and chemicals exploding in the? No, I'm being a layman, but is there some truth to that?
No. Kusoma haezi fanya mtu achizi. That
is what we used to hear tukiwa high school. Ule jamaa alisoma sana mpaka akachizi.
Myths.
That it's even in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
Yes.
Where in the Bible?
In the Bible.
Where in the Bible?
Where what? In the a book called Acts of the Apostles. Matendo ya Mitume.
Yes.
Kuna jamaa anaitwa Felix, who was a king, or something. So Paul, mtume Paul, ama Saint Paul, alienda kutembelea huyu jamaa. So huyu jamaa, they were speaking, and Paul was, speaking about the resurrection or whatever, and the things that he was saying didn't make sense to this Greek king, either king or something.
Okay.
So he says, Paul, your great learning has made you mad. No, it's there. Unaweza Google.
Hey, okay. I see. Nimona what you did there. Yes. But no.
What did I do?
I've seen what you've done. But
I've not done anything.
No, that is not what happens in the brain. No, the firing. Yeah,
no. My wondering is, when they say that, not kusoma as in reading, but like being very
knowledgeable.
I don't know if it's being knowledgeable or it's thinking too much, overthinking. It overheats the brain or something.
No, the brain cannot be overheated. It's not a computer.
No.
It is. So it can be described as a computer, but it's not.
This is layman's language.
Okay.
So that you can now use your technical language to explain what happens.
Here's the thing that happens. How cheesy, and when we talk about kuchizi, which is almost when we talk about mental wellness, it's quite derogatory as well.
True.
Yeah. So, but by the standards of the layman's terms, acha tu niseme kuchizi. Kuna conditions zingine. We have other conditions that cause the brain to do things that are not typical.
Okay.
Yes, but say
atypical.
Yes. As something like schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorders, bipolar disorders, zinaweza kama mtu amechizi, because again this is not something we would call normal.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say they have anything to do with reading or studying or gaining any extra knowledge. Yes.
Okay.
So always chizi ukisoma. It's not the cause ya kuchizi. It is caused by other mental illnesses or conditions, but reading is not one of them for sure. Yes.
Okay. So we were talking about the pathways traveling through the brain.
Oh yeah. So again, back to the first thing we're talking about, the cognition and the cognitive processes that happen in your brain when you read. It's like so much activity happening in your brain. You are able to retain more information when you read because of memory. You're able to critically think more. You're able to be more empathetic because you are reading somebody else's story and experiencing different emotions. I don't know if you ever read a book and became angry.
Yes.
Or read a book and you cried or almost cried. You laughed.
Yes.
So it also adds to your levels of emotional intelligence when you read. Yes. So it's a beautiful process that happens in the brain, and your neurons are just firing. Things are happening in your brain. It's very active and in a very positive way.
Let me ask you a silly question.
Again? But please,
well,
yes.
That's my forte. Silly questions can actually give us
very
brilliant
important
answers.
Yes.
So there is this statement or saying that says light bulb.
Or like a light bulb.
Yeah.
Moment. Okay.
A light bulb. What's that? In your technical language.
Oh,
What's a light bulb?
Okay. When you have a light bulb,
when you
what
have
is happening?
a brilliant idea, what's happening in the brain?
What is happening in the brain? Let me see. Let me think. So when you're having a grand idea that comes, for me, it's your brain has had like a ping, like something has made sense for you, and that means the critical thinking aspect of your brain, the decision-making aspect of your brain. Did I say comprehension?
Yeah.
Comprehension and critical thinking, they'll come together. And because, again, there's this aspect of imagination that our brain has, all this put together, an idea comes about. So
is that what you call a synapse? Maybe.
No,
like
that is not a synapse.
What's a synapse?
A synapse is like a part of the brain. It's like part of the brain that fire. Yeah.
It isn't?
It's not an external thing. It's not an abstract thing.
No, I mean like you have you talked about the brain cells, yeah?
Yeah.
There's this, what do you call this? Synaptic transmission.
Synaptic nerves and synaptic transmissions.
Yeah, which is where is it the information or whatever you call it is traveling in the brain cells?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that packet of information from one part of the brain
to the other
connects with another part of the brain, which wasn't connecting before.
Yeah.
And they connect.
Yeah.
What do you call that? And that's when you have an idea.
Yeah. But when you talk about that, when you were speaking, I was imagining the cells in the brain.
Yes.
I wish I could draw it, but it's like this is one cell, okay, and this is another, and they're connected like dendrites, something called dendrites, okay. So when information comes, so this is the dendrite, and then this is like the
dendrites look like roots,
almost like roots, or like something that connects. So these are where they connect, right? And then this is the cell body, and then this is the axon of the body. So and then it goes on.
Each cell contains like a packet of information.
Yes, all our cells.
Only one packet.
No, not exactly one. Different kinds of different cells with different information. Okay. So when you read or when you're getting new information in your system,
is it a new cell is created to capture the new information? New cells are created.
Actually, that is what neuroplasticity is about. Yes, because once you get new information, and it's information that's never. There's no cell for that information. The brain creates it, and that's why we say mtu ako na akili nyingi. Let me say that cells. So let me, in layman's terms, our cell kuna cells mob. Compared to someone who doesn't read, or is not open to new information, or is not gaining new information, or is not doing something new. So every time you read, your brain expands, and that is how it expands, because you have more neural connections, newer cells are being created, and all that.
If we talk in that language of dendrites and all synaptic transmission, synapses, whatever, what's happening when a new idea is born from the brain? You know, new ideas are usually from this information connecting with this information.
That's what I was saying.
So what's that? Like technically, if you think of it,
When I think about it then, in connection to just the conversation we've had, it's basically new neurons being created in the brain, and your brain expanding more.
New neurons, new brain cells.
Yeah, new brain cells, new neurons being
that's interesting, because it's like when you read or when we talk, you give me new information, right?
Yes.
You give me new information, you are giving it to me. So you're the one who is making my brain create the cells, right?
Not me exactly.
Not you.
Not me, but your brain does that.
My brain is doing it because you are the one who is telling me.
Transmitting the information.
But when I have a new idea myself, it's because my own brain has connected.
Yes, it's
the information that's already here.
Yes. So new neurons, new cells get created in different ways. You can get them when you get new information. And
do you get that when you're reading, you tend to get these a lot, the light bulbs?
Absolutely. Again, just like we said, you are literally getting new information, and
But the new information isn't just coming to a vacuum. So you're not just receiving new information.
Remember, it's a cognitive process.
It's coming to a process that already has information.
Yes.
So not only am I getting the new information you're giving me, but I'm also creating new information with my information already is interacting with the new information
that you're getting.
Give me the light bulbs.
Yes. Yeah? Just like we said, it's a process.
I'm getting light bulbs.
And that's a good thing. Your brain is like firing right now. It's firing, Yes. So since it's a process, there's comprehension, there's critical thinking, there's decision making happening, there's memory happening, because with that information that you already have, you also have to be able to call it back. You have to be able to retrieve it from your memory and be able to apply it for you to get that long-term memory. So when you're reading and we talk about your memory being enhanced, that is also part of the process. Okay, so using the information that you already have and the new one that you're getting to get this light bulb kind of moment, that is what it's about.
Have you ever seen a movie called Limitless?
No, but please tell me, what is Limitless about?
Limitless was there's a movie from back in 2010, 2011, around there. So there's this pill that has been invented.
Okay.
You take this pill and it does something to your brain, and what that means is that you are able to read new information. You are able to get it very fast at a very rapid rate, synthesizes all those things you've said, cognition, comprehension, all those things,
right,
multiplied by 1,000 or something like that.
Okay.
So like, let's
it reminds
say,
me of that movie Lucy.
Yes, it's like that. It's like that. So if I look at this globe, when I have swallowed that pill, I already now know all the countries in the world. If I'm watching, if I take these books, I'll just get all the information in there, and then this person using that is able to become very rich, very fast and so on. I don't know what question I was leading up to.
Were you thinking perhaps if that's possible, or if,
well, maybe is it? I don't know if it's.
I wouldn't say it's possible, but you see that we would say that people with higher IQs than others, and the way they think is different from others, and so maybe that can be tied.
Can I speed up my brain's
activities?
Yes.
Again, yes, you can. Because your brain can expand. That's even if you're an adult and you've reached the age where your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain in charge of decision making, goal setting, consequence. Like you were like, hey, I can't do this because because once you get around 25, you're more able to think, hey, now let me get my things together.
Yes.
So even past 25. Even if your brain is now fully developed, it is still able to expand as long as you're open to having new information come in and getting new experiences.
But can I speed it up? Like if normally I get information at a rate of, I read this book, maybe I read it again before I understand it. Can I speed it up so that I can be able to learn very fast, at a faster rate?
You can improve and eventually get better and better and better and better.
How do I do that?
Well, in the instance, say reading, let's go back to the child, say, who has ADHD, or even adults do have ADHD, So start slowly, read something. If you're not someone who's ardent about reading, read a paragraph, and something also that is interesting for you. Next time, read 2 paragraphs. Next time, and your brain becomes even more receptive with time.
Yeah.
It's the learning process. Again, cognition is about learning as well.
Yeah.
The process of learning, I always, when I try to explain it, I think about children and the way they try to learn the motor skills, the way they walk. Mtoto akianza kutembea tanguka. Kidogo ajisimame, crawling. And over time, as they learn this thing, they improve, and within no time, they're able to walk on their feet. they're able to run, they're able to jump. And right as they grow up, even into adulthood, they don't even have to think about walking. It's not a hassle. It's almost automatic for them. Yeah. So that is what the brain does. That is the process of learning, where you have to think about it. Okay, you have to think about what you're doing, and then it becomes easier. But then also you have to remind yourself, and then it comes to a point where you don't even have to think about it. It becomes so automatic for you. It's what's it called? Motor. Let me remember the word. I'll let you know. But it's so automatic for you.
Motor response or something.
No, it's muscle memory. That's the word. That's the word. Muscle memory. Yeah. So you are so used to it that you don't think about it. Now your brain doesn't have to think about it because it's so used to it. And at that point, it has been solidified in the brain. So if you want to develop a reading culture and make it a muscle memory for you, start small. And improve as time goes by until you get to a point where for you it's so automatic to read. And it's very possible because, again, neuroplasticity is here to save the day. Yeah.
So now tell me about social media. The elephant in the room, the villain.
The villain in the room.
Yes.
Okay.
Social media. So a lot of people have observed that with the coming of social media, they are too distracted. And it does something to their brain. Like they used to read very easily, like passionately, obsessively as children, but now with social media, they can't focus for 5 minutes and read.
Dopamine.
Yeah.
When I talked about chemicals in our
What's
brain.
dopamine?
No, when I talked about the chemicals in our brain, they're called neurochemicals. Yeah. Or neurotransmitters, because they are the transmitters of information in the brain. They're what gets passed across in the brain in the pathways. Okay. So our brains have a reward system. You do something, it feels good, you want to do it again. You do something, it feels good, you want to do it again. That is the reward system of the brain. Exactly. Okay. Now,
somebody said love is just chemicals in the brain.
Yes, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, yes. So when you get exposed to something that is extremely stimulating, like social media, the reward system gets broken. Inakuwa tampered with. And when that is tampered with, the way you get rewarded, the scope, the level, there's a word I'm looking for, but your level. You had to do say reading requires a lot for you to get that dopamine hit. Okay. But then I can get the same amount by just looking at a 30-second video. So the threshold, that's the word. The threshold becomes inashuka tasana, and you need more and more and more of it, and in higher doses for you to be able to hit the same threshold you are hitting by reading, so you become addicted.
Is there a grade of dopamine? You know what I mean? Like kuna ile unasema hii ni ile mzuri, hii ni ile mbaya. You know how people, I don't want to use the language of drug addicts, but they say this kona addiction. When they say like this particular strain ni kali, ni mzuri, na hii
because in a reduced threshold yako and it hits faster.
No, I mean purity. Like let's say if you say there are people who say the dopamine you get from good things, like working, you work for some time and you finish a task, that dopamine is good dopamine. And then others say if you get it from something like social media, porn, all these other things, it's bad dopamine. It will make you feel bad about yourself. You will feel like committing,
dying by suicide.
Yes, all those things. But if you get the dopamine from tasks that you feel are right, like morally right to you, or it's what you are supposed to do, that there is a good feeling and you feel better about yourself and it builds your self-esteem. Is this true?
Absolutely. It's all about the quality of your life as well. As human beings, we have what we call the stasis. They are psychological needs. Okay? And just like we need food and water and clothes in our bags, we need them to fully function, and they're very interdependent. STECI is an acronym, STECI. S stands for safety. We need to feel safe within and without. T, trust. E, esteem, just like you said, so I absolutely agree with you. C, control. And I, intimacy. Yes.
What are these?
So these are psychological needs. They're primal needs for us as human beings. You need to feel safe. You need to trust. You need to have your esteem in order. You need to feel in control, at least to some level. And you need to have some form of connection and vulnerability, which is intimacy. Okay? And so when you're watching porn, it does something to your intimacy levels. Okay? And it also does something to your trust levels, so because each of them affect one another. Okay? Or when you are, say, alcohol, you know, and often it's caused by something and people use it to cope, but then that goes south because it's not a healthy coping mechanism. Yeah? So when you don't feel safe, you're not able to trust. And if you're not able to trust people, you cannot be vulnerable with them. And that also affects how you see yourself, and also affects your sense of agency, how much control you have over your life and over your circumstances. And when you're addicted to things that make you feel like you're not in control, that affects all other stasis.
So the quality of life depends on safety, trust, esteem, control
and intimacy. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it's interesting. So now the whole thing of the reading, So sometimes I've struggled with the social media, and I go back to reading, and reading is hard. You know, reading is hard.
Because you're trying to get the same level of dopamine with something less stimulating.
I do feel
feel
like social media fries the brain somehow, and I know that is another layman thing to say, but it's a feeling you feel. So what's happening, you know, in the real sense in the brain? Does too much dopamine ruin something out there, the brain cells or whatever?
There's a term, yes, is the outright answer. There's a term, the 2024 word of the year on
brain rot.
Yes. Brain rot.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking about. Like, is this brain rot? Is it a real thing?
It is because you're not able to form new connections in the brain. Your threshold for dopamine has been thwarted. Absolutely. And that means remember what the reading does to the brain when you know your levels of comprehension, your levels of language, okay, and these are important functions for you to fully have a good quality of life, right? If you can't remember things, how will your life look like? You know, how will learning be like?
Social media makes your memory go away.
Yeah. Right now, because attention span, remember, you have to fully settle with something.
I'm trying to understand what exactly is making your mind deteriorate. Is it the dopamine? Is it like it's too much dopamine than you need?
It's different things. It's not one thing, Eric. It's not just one thing. It's the dopamine. Okay.
Is it like, is too much dopamine bad for you?
It is, because now you will always want more and more.
Okay.
And then what does that do to your quality of life? Remember, it's not just about the processes happening to your life, but how does this manifest in your daily living? Right? And so when we talk about brain rot, and when we talk about, you know, your brain is not okay and all that, it's these processes not being able to fully get executed. Learning, comprehension, critical thinking, creativity, imagination, And these are very important things for you when it comes to making decisions, solving a problem, because you have to have a lot of imagination and creativity. But when you are in spaces where you're overly stimulated in a way that is very detrimental, not able to live in a worthwhile, holistic kind of way. Yeah, so I would say that from my perspective and from the knowledge I have, and when you connect it to brain rot, that is what that looks like. Yeah.
You know, when I felt, there's a time when I said, I'm going to start reading again, and I had not read for a while, and I actually disconnected social media for like 2 weeks, and I started reading again. And you know, I did feel something in my brain, as if my brain was healing. Is this true?
Our bodies heal, thankfully.
I could feel as if,
yes.
like when I'm reading, I could feel this energy here. You know, a very clean and beautiful energy, almost spiritual. Which made me think, you know, reading is meditative in a sense.
Absolutely. Again, I agree. Owing to the what happens in your brain when you read, I concur with you that hey, when you read, you even feel better about yourself. You're fulfilling your needs as well.
Which needs?
You feel safe when you read because this is your world. You have control. You can imagine. You have control.
It's your world.
It's your world, and you are able to create these characters. You're able to connect with them and with yourself because you're experiencing emotions, intimacy, right? And you are able to...
What about trust?
And you're able to trust that... Trust yourself because you're gaining more knowledge. Yeah. And especially when you say, like, when you say you love to read and you are reading. So you are actually... There's something called cognitive dissonance, where what you think and what is happening do not correlate, so you get confused. Well, what is this happening? So when you say, I love to read, and you're reading, you're connecting with yourself, and you feel like you're honest with yourself, which means you can trust yourself more. Yeah, so these are needs that are also fulfilled when you read from that perspective, yeah.
So now let's think about the child. So the child starts reading. So before the child starts reading, how is their mind? What's the difference between before they started reading and after they started reading? Like what change happens in their brain?
They become more imaginative. They become more creative.
Really?
Yeah. Because
I think children are like the most imaginative and
they
creative.
They are, but they become even more because they're exposed to new information, new worlds, new sense of, they're able to be connected to something new that a child who is not reading does not have access to.
Did you read the Harry Potter series?
Oh, I love the Harry Potter series. You see, when you were talking about the kids who loved to read and then they grew up and, well, not so much anymore. That was me. When I was growing, we had this library close by. So we used to go to the library, borrow books, and then we would read them and return them. So, and I think, remember cognition and language, you would also notice that a child who reads, their language is more advanced than a child who does not read. Yes.
So
Harry Potter?
Yes, the Harry Potter series. I feel it's a series, is a book. If you have children who don't enjoy reading, give them those books.
I wouldn't recommend it as the first book you give them.
Well, because it's a bit hard in terms of it's big.
Yes, first of all, a kid looks. This kid does not even like to read, and then you give them this yay big.
Yes. The first one was small.
Yeah, but I would recommend it highly because here's why. Because it is highly imaginative. Because they're talking about things that are not, I wouldn't say they're human. So you really have to, your imagination has to be huge. So it grows the imagination as you read. You try to figure out what is this, because what's the author's name? J.K.
Rowling.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling
Yeah.
is very good with descriptions.
Yes.
Very good. So as they read and they try to imagine, this person look like this, this thing look like this, this being look like this, because some of the beings, let me call them beings that are being talked about or written about in the Harry Potter series are not exactly human. So you have to really imagine what these beings look like with the description given to you. You cannot see it in the book like you using your eyes to see. So you have your brain has to use its eyes, the brain of the eyes of the brain. Yes. So I would recommend Harry Potter, the series.
And even the whole thing of magic.
And magic, because this is a surplus reality.
It's like the book is about magic. And reading is magical as well. So
is that a pun? Is that a long? Is that a long minute to get a pun down?
Oh no.
But yes, reading is magical
it is magical.
It is. I do agree.
It is magical, and like when you read those books, as you said, you're imagining. I think imagination is magic.
It is,
Yeah.
and
because what's
I
imagined?
I would think spiritual because you're creating.
True.
And who's the greatest creator of all?
It's God.
Yes.
In the beginning, there was the Word.
Word.
Yes. Yes. So I always wonder, like, what was it that she did right, and what is it that other children books writers aren't doing that she did in those books?
Honestly, JK is very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative.
She's written other books, but they didn't hit like those books.
Still, in that series, the amount of creativity was, for me, it was out of this world. But also the way, the writing, the style, the way she wrote, the description, and the way you would move from one part of the book to another, the way they connected, beautiful. So I would like to think the writing was very well done, and because she had children in mind as she wrote the book, that's it. So for say writers, think about children when you write,
when you write for children,
especially if you're writing for children. Yes, we have the bit where there's the story, but think like a child. What would this make? Why would this be interesting for me to read? What parts of it would be interesting for me? What styles would you use for it to be even more interesting for me? Yeah, so a bit more research. Talk to a child psychologist as well if it helps. Yeah, especially now that we have this whole screen time thing, and you're trying to, as a writer, you're trying to figure out. I need kids to read my books, but they're on screen. How do I get my books to be in front of their faces instead of a screen? Yeah, so and just to say, I am part of a network called the Digital Health Education Network Kenya, newly founded, and we talk about screen addiction, and we try to offer alternative means and sources of what I call dopamine instead of screen, because the screen addiction is a real thing. Yeah, so for parents, for writers, for teachers, for anyone dealing with children, these are things to think about as you interact with children. And please don't give them screens, especially before at 5 let me just say 10. Don't give them screens. And even if you they're exposed to it, think about screen time and what that means. But my recommendation is no screens at all.
What alternatives do you usually come up with?
You talked about coloring, so art generally is a beautiful way to get children out of the screens. Because it is very interesting. It stimulates the brain equally, and it gets the child motivated to do something new. So there are different forms of art. We have visual arts, performative arts. Drawing is a visual art. Painting. Get a child to be doing something without any form of distraction for almost even an hour or 30 minutes, because the child is just coloring and focusing on the coloring. Get the child to do poetry, get the child to do music, get the child to be on stage and perform. Not necessarily on stage, just the performance arts, you know. Yeah, so art is I always advocate to use art for interventions, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a psychologist, whatever you do, find ways to incorporate artistic devices into your practice. Yeah.
Okay. So what about you? Like, how did you come into reading?
I love to read. As a kid, I enjoyed reading a lot, because when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of things to distract us. Let me say that. Those little to distract us. Okay? So, and my mom was very strict as well. Ilikuwa usoma, upate knowledge, ukwe daktari or something like that. So, thankfully, where I grew up, we had a library. It was called the MISA Library, Mathare Youth Sports Association. It was a sports club, but they also like an extension where there was a library there. It was a community library, and the children around the areas, because I grew up in Huruma, so Otoiwa Huruma, Mathare, Ngei, Mathare North would go to this library, and it was so fun, and it was open to all children, and you can get a book, read in the library, get a book, carry it home, and I used to enjoy that. So shout out to Maisa, Mathare North Library. You guys changed my life, literally. Yeah, so that's how I started reading, developing the culture of reading. Yeah, and I always recommend reading, because who I am today, the way I talk, the way I think, the way my perceptions are very much largely shaped by reading and the foundation that I had as a kid. Yeah, I wouldn't say much right now in terms of I read a lot. I would love to, however, and find time. Yeah, so there's like a lot going on, but I would love to find time to read. Yeah.
What do you enjoy reading?
I think the last book I read was Colin Hoover. Starts with me, ends with us, ends with us, or something like that. Yeah, it was a very interesting book, and it spoke to things that I'm very passionate about as well. So the motivation behind the book, the topics, well, what is this writer talking about, really motivates me to read, because it was about gender-based violence and how that looks like, and why do victims go back. Yeah, so because I'm big on feminism and women empowerment and having conversations that bring down the patriarchal systems in our communities, in our societies. Yeah, so it really spoke to me, and it got me really thinking. Also gave me a very in-depth perception. You know, you really get into, because this is someone else's story you're reading. And it really got me to understand the perceptions. Why was this woman going back? So
that's interesting. Yeah. So you know, it's Colin Hoover is it's fiction, yeah.
Yeah, it is fiction.
But the things you're learning from are things you would learn from non-fiction, right?
Absolutely.
So what would you say is the difference between reading fiction and reading non-fiction, and which is better?
There's no.
And don't give me. No,
I wouldn't say.
Don't give me.
No.
Let me say it. Don't give me the ChatGPT answer. There is no, ChatGPT never gives it.
But there's none. Honestly, there's none.
Which one is better for learning?
For learning?
Yes.
Non-fiction.
Non-fiction.
I would say because.
But in non-fiction, you only learn facts. The facts.
What about the? See,
but in the fiction. As you've explained.
Sorry, I meant fiction. My bad. I meant fiction. My bad. In my brain, I said fiction.
Okay,
yes. Okay. So fiction is the best for learning, because there's a storytelling aspect to it, and our brains love stories.
True.
Yeah. So fiction for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because the way you described it is like the things you are learning are basically things you might have learned from a seminar, gender-based violence seminar, or a book.
Absolutely.
A book, a non-fiction book about it, but you learned it more deeply in fiction.
Exactly. There's this other book around financial literacy. How do I forget it?
Richest Man in Babylon.
No, not Richest Man. It was written by a Nigerian lady.
Okay.
Smart Money Woman or something like that. Or something like that. And it was basically the story of a woman, and just it's talking about her life, but then focusing on the aspect of finances. It is the best financial book I have ever read. I listen to podcasts around finances. I see shows, but this particular story changed my life.
Yeah.
It was a fiction book. So if you're looking to...
Well, did the person write it for the purpose of...
financial literacy?
Yes.
Yes. But then...
so it wasn't like they were writing for the purpose of being a fictional story?
No. But the way they brought it was very much, in a way I would say it's fiction.
Yeah, I've always wondered why all the religious books in the world are stories.
We love stories. Humans love stories.
You know, like you would think, God comes and, like God speaks to these prophets. Maybe it should be non-fiction and give you some very specific, like philosophers, how philosophers write. They write these, maybe that's why you don't read them. They write these very heavy texts where even the sentences are unreadable. But the actual things which move the culture are written in stories.
Maybe that's why people don't like reading academic papers. If perhaps we could find a way to bring a storytelling aspect to academic papers and abstracts, it would people would be more interested to read. Yeah, maybe. Absolutely.
Yeah, and some academic papers have stories in there, and you can read them.
But I think of them more as case studies.
And those are the most interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe from the beginning, if you just bring in that aspect, it would be more interesting for the readers, especially if you want to disseminate it to populations that are not exactly within the academia demographic. Yeah.
And now, before I forget, you're a psychologist. You can tell me the brain while reading a story and the brain while reading not a story.
When you read, you're just getting in new information, and whatever you're getting is beneficial as well to the brain, but it becomes more interesting for you and it motivates you, and it becomes a pleasure, and your dopamine, because again, reward and pleasure, dopamine increases when you're able to get pleasure. So that's what I would say, because if you're reading something that is fun, is interesting, your dopamine levels become, you're able to feed into that reward system, and you'd want to read more compared to just reading facts. A cell is a body of what. Why
do we love stories? Like, that's a philosophical question. Like, why do we love stories as humans?
Because they create a surplus reality for us.
A surplus?
Surplus reality. Yeah, when you're able to think about something beyond your current circumstances, you can be able to daydream. You can be able to think about something that, the future, in a way that is not anxious. Okay? Yeah, so stories do that for us. Yes. Because when you are able to meet your needs through reading, and you're able to do it through storytelling, you're able to feel better about yourself, grow, and it's much more fun. It's much more interesting, and that's why we enjoy those as human beings, because our needs are met as well. Yeah.
So, as a psychologist, do you think, with you understanding, well, this is more of a question for me. If I understand something, how it's done, so let's say you understand how the brain works, right? Would that make it easier for you, if you are a writer, to manipulate your readers' minds?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Actually, you can be able
because I wonder now if that is why you're good at what you do, applied theater.
Yeah, performance too, because I am a performer. So
like you are like, oh, this is the time to bring in this plot element because it's going to do this specific thing in the mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say as a performer,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what it means or how I can spark certain emotions because of my knowledge in psychology. So you have spilled my secrets.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
with the knowledge of psychology, how the mind works, how the brain works, how people respond to certain stimuli, and how you can generate this stimuli. Yes, it makes you a better writer, a better performer, a better artist.
What about a better, relating with people, making people do the things you want them to do?
Yeah, how to make friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Yes, because that
Yeah.
is I read it. I read it as a psychological book as well,
Okay.
not just as one to make friends and influence people. Because the writer David
Carnegie.
yes.
Dale Carnegie.
Yes. So he's able to appeal to the needs, stasis of humans, and through that you're able to connect better. So it's all about making people feel good by satisfying their needs in a way that again is not manipulative. Yeah, because he really insists
But
that
it could be,
but he really insists that you be genuine about it.
Well, he insists.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But again, people do use these tactics manipulatively. Yes.
I think if I'm trying to get you to do something, I'm manipulating you.
Yes, but
Maybe there is good manipulation, but it's still manipulating.
But we are all human beings are in the business of manipulation.
Yeah, I just want us to free these words.
Let's say, okay, fine. But when we say manipulative, it's often taken in a negative light.
Yeah.
But by the standards of what it is and what we do, it is actually.
If you look at, like, if a robot or an alien came and analyzed us, they wouldn't be able to know the difference between good manipulation and bad manipulation.
Because it all seems the same.
Because if
I would
let's
say manipulation, however, though, has negative connotations to it. Sababu, it's not done in good faith. That's the difference.
So it's about intention.
It's about intention.
But what if you've heard of the road to hell is paved with good intentions? There are politicians you've watched, like that movie, Thanos.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's manipulation where you have good intentions, where it's, I'm doing this for the greater good. But are you, though, if you're hurting people? Well, maybe I'm not hurting you, but I'm doing it for your good.
eyebrows.
No, I'm not talking about Thanos. I'm talking about, like, another situation.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You're manipulating somebody, but you have removed from them their what do you call it? The agency or the right to
autonomy.
Yes,
independence.
But according to your definition, if you're doing it for the right reasons,
is it beneficial to them as well?
It is, but it's not what they want.
No, there's good intention.
Sometimes people want the wrong thing for themselves. Dopamine.
Okay, fair point.
So,
where
does it cross the moral point? If I'm doing it for your best good.
For someone's best interest.
Best interest. But it's not what you want. So you could argue that I've taken away your agency.
Yeah. It depends who it's not black and white here.
So
it depends
so do I have the right to
choose,
to decide what's good for you?
I feel like everyone should have agency, and if approached in a way that can give the recipient agency, that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
Because even as psychologists, I don't do counseling psychology, but when speaking with the knowledge of counseling psychology, you don't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. That's futile. It might as well not do it. So the person has to actually want to go through therapy and want to change their lives and want that for themselves. Therapy is good, right? But it won't be beneficial for someone who is not willing.
I've always wondered, why some psychiatrists or psychologists, they know, I may know what is wrong, I may understand what is wrong, or whatever is happening in my brain or whatever, right? I may understand everything that is happening. I may understand what I need to do, but I can't fix it. You know?
Uh-huh.
You know, like, let's say if you are dealing with a problem like ADHD, right? And you well, not ADHD, like, because that's nature.
Mostly, yeah.
But let's say something which comes from life, nature, or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with that issue, like addiction. So you understand the entire process.
You know, but then, is it fulfilling your needs? Is it something? Here's the thing about our brains again.
Like now, to bring it back to literature, like let's say the reading thing, yeah?
It's so good for your brain, but...
Yes, so like I understand the whole thing about how my brain is warped because of the social media and everything. Or I understand everything about the dopamine, the brain, and reading.
And how
and yet,
it
I
is.
am not able to get it back when I take a book to read. I'm not able to rekindle it.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand everything except how to become, how to do the thing I am supposed to do.
I would say also it depends with the environment that you're in as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having screens around you, if there's a lot of stimulation, it becomes hard. It's not because you don't want to. Your brain cannot be able to understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's a lot of stimulation.
Despite me knowing exactly.
Yes.
What is happening.
Yes. It's in practice as well. Mm-hmm. Like say if you want to read, you want to start a reading culture, you have to be very intentional around it. Mm-hmm. Make sure you don't have your screens. It's quiet. It's it's get something that can motivate you. Like if you there's a name for it, but let me describe it. Mm-hmm. If you like to have coffee, you enjoy coffee, have coffee with you when you read. Your brain connects this good thing that you automatically love to do without, it's like almost a muscle memory for you, and you really thoroughly enjoy it. This thing that is not so much, and when you tie them together, it becomes beneficial for you. So if you love to do a certain thing, connect it to this other thing that, well, it's not something you really like to do per se, but you want to do it, and it becomes easier for you to do it. Okay. So it's in practice as well. So you have to be, as much as your brain is like, I don't want to do this, you have to, and you really want to do it, you have to be very intentional with it. Yeah.
Is that why, like, there are people who love, like, let's say, bookmarks?
Yes. Yes. In fact, they get like really cute bookmarks, or really nice, because it does. It's an aspect of psychology called motivation and learning. Yes. And
I know, like, with writers, the writers will tell you, oh, I love, when I am writing, I have the coffee with me, or I have this particular pencil or pen that I use specific.
Serves the same purpose, because it acts like a cue for the brain.
Or a font.
Or fonts that it acts as a cue, so it stimulates your brain, like, okay, so now it's time, because environment also plays a huge role to the way you behave, largely whether or not you like it. Your environment plays a huge role in how you react and how you perceive things. So if you're able to connect this thing that acts as a cue for your brain to do certain things, do so. For example, if you want to exercise in the morning, have a cue, weka gym clothes zako, literally ukiamka unaziona ziko hapo na gym shoes zako. It helps your brain go like, okay, time to do this. So
you've talked about overstimulation. What about how to decompress that from maybe not consuming anything, in terms of information consumption? Like, don't read anything, don't get on any screens, total digital
detox.
Blackout, detox. Is that a thing?
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Does that help the brain?
It does. Again, our brains, neuroplasticity, and the fact that we can heal. Our brains, literally, the matter, leave alone the abstract mind. There's that part of healing, but also the actual matter needs healing as well. And detoxifying, it's just the same as when you are going through detoxification for chemical substances like alcohol or nicotine or things like that.
Is it that the electrical pulses pulsing through the brain sort of slow down when you just go for a walk, you just sleep?
Partly there's that, but also remember dopamine. Yeah. So
isn't dopamine what fires up the electricity?
It's not what fires up. It's what goes through. It's the thing that's being fired. Yeah.
Oh, so dopamine has nothing to do with the electricity?
No. There's the electrical aspect and there's the chemical aspect. Yeah. Dopamine now is a neurochemical. It's a chemical.
How do they intermix?
I'm not quite sure.
Are they part of the same process or separate?
They do. They serve the same purposes, but they're not the same thing. They're not. Okay. Because when I think about that, I think around imaging. Whenever you go for scans in the brain, there are different ways to do that. We have PET scans, we have different CAT scans, and all that. For people who want to see parts of, they want to use the chemical aspect to check the brain. They use a different process. Well, then they use a different process as well when they look at the electrical aspects. So they look at mali kuna red nyingi. There's a lot of firing and activity. There's a lot of activity around the electrical aspects of it.
So let me take it back to books, yeah? So there are these books which are like difficult to read. Okay. And I remember you said somewhere about, the getting better at thinking or getting better at, when I was asking about this whole thing of if I want to get to be faster, and you said reading can help, yeah? So is there an aspect of reading being like weightlifting?
Being like weightlifting?
Yes, where if you read hard books, it's like your brain is lifting some very heavy matter compared to when you read
simple books,
like really simple books. And simple is relative.
Simple
here
course.
Could just mean that it's simple for you, it could be hard for somebody else, but simple for you. So basically for you, there is no difficulty.
There's no challenge. So is there something like when you read challenging books, it is better for your brain? Challenging yourself definitely is a good thing. Cuts across. It doesn't matter whether it's reading, whether it's whatever you do and it's challenging, it enhances your brain. Yes, it's just your words. It's like weightlifting for your brain. Absolutely. The outright answer is yes. But then there's different contexts around it. At what point are you reading it? What's the environment around it? So I wouldn't say go outright at it. Understand your context first, and then go right ahead. But I would recommend it.
I don't mean like doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean like, is there? It could be challenging, but it's exciting to you. You love what you're reading, but it's challenging. So you are hitting both notes. So on this one side, it's interesting to you, so you are motivated to keep reading. But it's challenging, so it's going to have that weightlifting aspect. So I was wondering, if it's challenging, is there something that happens to the brain cells, like you build more neurons, or it makes reading easier for you, the muscle memory thing?
Just like I said, it cuts across. It doesn't matter if it's reading or whatever you do, and it's giving you a new experience. So definitely doing something that is challenging but also exciting, especially the fact that it is interesting and exciting, is very important.
So coming back to literature, I always feel that sentences got shorter. Sentences of literature got shorter, and of popular literature basically. So literary fiction will still have like longer sentences, but popular fiction will have way shorter sentences. So if you go back like a century or centuries, the popular fiction back then had longer sentences. If you go back to films, the same thing. There's this thing called the take. Yes.
I think
and now the shots are getting shorter and shorter. So you could find the average shot is like 4 seconds or 5 seconds or 6 seconds, and previously the average shot could have been 9 seconds or 10 seconds. So it's like the same thing with like TikTok. You watch YouTube videos are longer, and now you have the TikTok comes in and videos become shorter and shorter. So it's like things are becoming shorter and shorter. Shorter sentences, shorter shots for film, because shorter videos, shorter everything, which means that consumption is easier and cheaper and faster. And what do you think this is doing to the culture? Because this is a cultural thing happening wide across. If you go and listen to the speeches that leaders used to make way back, and you listen to the speeches, presidential debates in 2020, right now, 2025, you go back to previous, across different countries, it's different. Today it's all about how you look, how you sound, the vibes and so forth.
It's more.
But previously, these guys were way more elaborative, longer sentences, complete sentences, and having more ideas, more policies in their conversation. Is it really that we are getting dumber?
Getting dumber
as
a people,
as a species. And now we have AI.
Yeah, which is just a whole other conversation, honestly.
Yes.
But when you were talking about shorter sentences, shorter videos, I was thinking shorter attention span. Also, it depends with the intention. You want to make more money, you need the highest people. You need a lot more numbers to pay attention to your works, and you need to be able to, compelling way do that, because you're in competition with other works that are equally trying to get the attention of the same population that you're trying to get. Unfortunately, now that, again, that's why when we started, I talked about me not being a fan of capitalism, because it's literally there are some corporations, PR firms that employ psychologists for that specific reason. To
game the mind.
Yes.
Hack our brains, basically.
Yes, in a way that the attention span or rather the attention is directed towards their products.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So because for most parts, because they want that, especially in terms of social media and the like TikTok or Instagram and all that, they present to you a world that makes you get attracted, and it's cha.
And they train their algorithms to prefer that kind of content.
Exactly, because they understand the dopamine hit and the reward system. Yes. And if they really cared about children, if they really cared about human beings and not about profit, we'd be having something totally different coming out.
But what do you think it's doing to us, like as an aggregate?
People, shorter attention span, which means the way you get, for instance, a while back, say even 20 years back, or even less, 10 years back, if you wanted to get food, what did you do? You made food.
Yeah.
But it's right now, you get things at a click of a button, at a tap on a phone, Basically, it's you're getting things in the then and now. You're not. So again, the dopamine system.
I know the word.
What's the word?
Instant gratification.
That's the word. Instant gratification is the word. So there's a lot of instant gratification, and not just that aspect of literature or what we consume in terms of screens, but also in our day-to-day lives. And think about the levels of tolerance that we are having as human beings towards each other. Very low right now. Someone does something to you and you want to fight them then so it's a sad reality, but that's a reality. But then again, because I think we should find ways to bring change, and it is possible, let's do it. And I think that is why we are having these conversations. That is why we're talking about the brain and reading and what that does and why it's important for us to read, and the whole idea around instant gratification. Because it all starts from the conversations that we have.
I mentioned AI. So now imagine what will happen with AI. Like, you see, memory, we've already lost most of our memory because, you see, this is a globe. I don't need to remember where Kazakhstan is located because I can always Google. You know?
Previously,
I would have.
You really have.
I would have spent a lot of time. You know, I remember when we were growing up, we used to have the atlas, and we would spend so much time playing the game where I ask you, where is Poland? And then you have to look for it. And I was very good at this game because I spent a lot of time looking at the atlas. So I would ask you, where is Salt Lake City? And then you have to look for it. So now with Google, you don't need to do that. You can see even with Uber drivers, they don't. Some of them don't even know routes.
Yeah.
Why? Because they can always use the Google Maps. Yeah. So what happens when even when it comes to memories of time we spent together, I will just take a photo with my smartphone or a video, so I don't have to remember anything. It's captured there.
Yeah.
So memory, we have relegated memory to devices, and now we have the AI. So with AI, I don't need to be creative. I don't need to struggle with, let's say I'm writing something, I don't need to struggle with the word. If I'm designing, I don't need to struggle with colors, thoughts. You know, like there's a struggle there when you are being a creative.
Understand what
and this struggle is absolutely essential because that's the blood which will water the thing you're creating. So what happens when AI, we have AI for everything? What happens to us as humans?
I like to think some functions become redundant for us, and that's not good. That's
actually,
not good.
I should have asked what happens to our brains.
Same thing we were saying, because again, your memory, your level of creativity, your level of imagination. And so I would say, or rather recommend, that we find alternative ways. If it needs delegation because it's you really need to delegate it, do so. But a lot of meditation, a lot of reading is required in this instance, because we need to find alternative ways if for us to get the same things, same memory, comprehension, critical thinking, for us to get these things. Because there are some situations where you won't have ChatGPT, or you won't have Perplexity AI, or you won't have Napkin AI, or the other different types of AI that are there for us, Kina Gemini and Siri. So, especially when we interact with human beings, my biggest concern when it comes to AI is not even in the, creativity and writing, it's how we relate to each other as human beings. Because connection is equally important. Because right now we are even in spaces where people don't talk to each other. If I need advice, I talk to ChatGPT. If I need to know something, not just like say a country, it's even in the emotional aspects, going back to the psychological needs being met. Because they can be met through other means, but it is not beneficial to the quality of our lives. We become even more lonely. So human beings are bred for literally connection to each other. So if we don't have that aspect.
So with AI, we can expect mental health to plummet even more. Yes.
It's a sad reality. But that's the cards we've been dealt. So we have to really think about how we're using AI and how that looks like for us, even in in reading.
And then there's this thing, Neuralink. Elon Musk has this thing called Neuralink. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's a chip in your
connected
brain
to
or
the
something.
brain. I've heard of it.
So like that means that I think I haven't read about it or looked into it. But in my imagination, it's like if you have something in your brain, it's like a computer in your brain. The brain is a computer, so it interfaces with the brain. And let's say if you want to know something, you could just Google it in your brain. Like
interesting.
I don't know if that's the case, but I imagine that's what it can do. So now
retrieve information just like a computer would, but now in your brain.
So now I wonder, is that going to be beneficial to my brain or to the chip? Because it's basically like an AI in my brain. So who is going to benefit from this? Like this parasite in my brain, who's benefiting more? Is it my brain or his brain.
I would like to think what
Yeah.
will it do to the quality of your life? Again, going back, because
Yeah.
when we talk about mental wellness and mental health,
Yeah.
something becomes really, really bad when it
Yeah.
affects your quality of life and the way you live and the way you relate to people, your emotion, your behavior, your social wellness as well, because it's all connected, your spiritual aspects in terms of how you think about purpose and life. Yeah, so it would be interesting to see. I think I'd love to go look into it some more and maybe write about it as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because when we're doing all these things, it's like we're forgetting we are humans. We are not robots. So the thing about humans is that whatever you are going to do is going to have some consequences on us, mentally, spiritually, and these things. Like, let's say social media. They bring in social media. It's nice. Then they have these psychologists in there. They game it. They make it like something that has the instant gratification, giving us dopamine,
Hits.
too much of it, and it's intentional.
That's the sad part.
Yes. So it's like, yes, social media is good, but what about the consequences on our mental health? Yeah. So yes, AI is good, but what about the consequences
I think,
on
again,
our
I'm just like, capitalism needs to go to hell, man, because it's all about the profits. It's all about the profits. And again, it cuts across different things, not just mental health, but everything, I would say, comes back to that. Think about, oil companies and the way they degrade the environment.
I do.
It's about the profits. Think about fumes and all that. It comes down to people putting profit over people. So that's very sad, to make just a few people, wealthier, at the expense of the masses, the majority.
It's like you could say that, you have this list of the top 10 billionaires in the world, but this list shows the money. But what about on the flip side of this wealth is suffering of billions of people.
So for me, it's actually very sad, because we could easily, as a people, as humans, as the human race, live in a very comfortable, loving way, in a way that each of us gives and takes in a way that is beneficial to everyone. Then we have decided, you know what, the majority, you guys can just die or something, and then for us who have the power, who have the it's very sad. And I really empathize with the coming generation, because what's worse about this is I'm not sure it's getting any better. But we try where we can, and again, just like we said, that's why we're having this conversation.
And it has a name. It's called techno-feudalism.
Techno-feudalism?
Yes. You know the feudal system that was there, where you have the overlords and all the peasants. Yes. So techno-feudalism is where you have the tech overlords and everybody else. And the sad thing is that techno-feudalism is the philosophy of the people that have taken over the American government. So Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and you could go and read. I'll give you materials. You go and look into it. Like, that's the philosophy. It's not make America great again. Make America great again was a philosophy that was there, and then it was hijacked.
Of course.
When
you can see what's happening right now.
Yes, it was hijacked. So now Make America Great Again was about the masses. It was sort of like fascism, But now they have this new thing. It's techno-feudalism, and it's not serving the masses, it's serving the capitalists. And if you read the top thinkers in this philosophy, they say that freedom is not compatible with democracy.
Interesting.
Yes.
I've heard that one before. But
yes.
What is that?
Yes. So basically, one of the originators of this way of thinking, he once wrote that Americans should get over their fear of dictatorship. That Americans will have the government they want the day they get over their fear of dictatorship.
Debatable.
Yes.
Debatable.
Well, so the whole idea is that they want to create a system where the president is strong enough and the country is run as a company, and that's why they've been doing all these things.
Yikes.
So now my fear is this is the new norm, and this is what all countries will start being
adopting.
Because the Indian president went to the US, and one of the people he goes to meet is Elon Musk, as if he's meeting a president. And then he says that whatever dog is doing, that India is also looking into efficiency and so forth. So we are going to see a lot of this going on around the world. Tax forevers, cutting people, firing people from companies, governments, the NGO sector collapsing.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
AI coming in.
And the crazy part is in terms of AI and tech, the people who are programming it to fit certain, issues, to look at certain issues, to serve certain purposes and agenda. So that sucks. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just a very hopeless thought in my head, because you're like, now what do we even do?
Yeah. So I think and I believe that reading is revolutionary, and that if people work, they read stories, they read whatever they are reading, they will understand the world better. Because I believe part of the thing happening when we have these low attention spans, it means we can't even read. Like, let's say if it's a policy, if it's the finance bill, we can't read it. We can't finish reading the finance bill. I must say
that the whole thing is intentional. The whole system, the way it's been set up is intentional. So again, it's not just because of the profit. It goes back to talking about policy, talking about all these things, and how systems are shaped and formed, and how people are either manipulated or directed. So that's why we say don't give children screens just yet.
Give them books.
Give children
books.
Let
them learn how to read. And one of the things that conquerors always do when they come into a new city is ban the libraries. Like in history,
and not just libraries, but also what the people in that space held dear in terms of what connected them, and say when they came to an African community,
the public square,
say that they would destroy the where they kept some sort of museums. Even that is happening. I saw a clip in what the war in Sudan that is happening right now. They went to and they destroyed the museum in Khartoum. So it's sad, because also the books that are written hold the culture, the knowledge of the ancient and all that, the wisdom. So it's it's weird. They created the internet, and the internet contains the museums and the culture and so forth. But then they did something else. They created social media, TikTok, and all these other things, and distractions, like too many distractions, porn and so forth, which ensures that we don't have enough attention span to go and back. Read those books. Because they are free. when you don't. When you want to present something, there's this again a clip I saw around if ChatGPT wanted to take over the world, how would he do it, or it do it?
Yeah, it's he.
It's a he.
Yeah, or she. Or they. Or it. Yeah.
Or it. So how would ChatGPT do it? And the way it presented it's not in a forceful way. It's not in a way that I'll come over and talk over the world. It's in a way that seduces the mind and
it talks about disinformation campaign. Like that was something.
There's that.
They will spread a lot of disinformation,
yes.
Which tells you that disinformation does something to our minds.
Yes.
It dislocates us from reality.
Exactly, and we cannot see what things are, and that is what for a lot of tactics of manipulation. That is what they do. They de-link you from the reality that is, and you're not able to perceive things as they are. So it's going to be a tough couple of coming years. I hope we will be ready for that, but most importantly, we can do something about it in as much capacity, in our own capacity rather, and as much as we can.
Give us a revolutionary finish, connecting reading with whatever we are talking about.
Well, I would say when you read, you get a lot of new information, a lot of new knowledge. The systems that we have do not want you to think for yourself. The systems that we have do not want you to think creatively and think critically, to make decisions that are informed. But reading does these things for you. Reading makes you think, imagine, have a surplus reality. Because the systems also present us there's no other way, it's just this. But when we have a surplus reality, we're able to imagine a future that can be better for us. So read. Read because it's literally revolutionary for you, for your people. Encourage everyone around you to read. Because how will you again read the finance bill, as we said, this huge booklet, if your attention span is 30 seconds? Impossible. Find creative ways to do it. Find ways to warm up to reading as well. It'll change our lives, it'll change our countries, it'll change our world, it'll change how the world looks like for the children we want to bring to this world. If not, let's not have children then, because wanakuja kufanya nini hapa? Ni dunia gani tunawaleta? Si heri tusikwe na watoto basi. Yeah. So read. It's for the children that are coming.
Perfect. Asante sana.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moraa.
Thank you, Eric.
For that.
For the conversation.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
Yeah,
and
I would say so.
And especially towards the end, it's brought it all together and why we need to read. And not just because it's good for our brains, but it's also good for our society.
It is.
It's
it
good.
Absolutely is.
Actually,
because
it's
your brain
is
what changes the world.
And all the things that are happening around us, one of the ways to combat us is for us to know what's happening, for us to process it, for us to read. And also, history repeats itself. So how do we know the history without reading? Because
it's in the books.
It's in the books. And actually, the oral life, you can learn the history of Miyamoto. But which history will tell us about previous centuries? That's not in the oral. We are not talking about it. So you can find it in books, right? If you go out there, you won't find people talking about Julius Caesar, right? But if you go and read the play by Shakespeare, you will know about it, right?
True.
But if you go out there, you find people talking about Kenyatta. You find because the people there are people who are alive who are there at that time. But will you find people talking about previous centuries? What was happening?
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
So this was another episode of Conversations in Literature. We were joined by Moraa Meng'wa. And this is Conversations in Literature. My name is Eric Rugara. Some people know me as Miyamoto Muswahili. Until next time, Conversations in Literature is sponsored by Nairobi Academic Press. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Roaring Simba Network.